I was selected by Petroleum when they came to our campus recruitment. The procedure for the recruitment was that we all had to give our just percentages, the campus percentage, the 10-12 percentage, and other training requirements through the training placement department. Then they selected 48 of us from the mechanical department, and then they conducted GD, and then after one round of interview. So in the GD, there were four batches, each of 12. Then in my GD group had the topic of should the government control the petroleum prices. The GD was quite nice, and the conductors of the GD were very, and they gave us our time to speak. And at the end of the GD, they allowed people who had not spoken some chance to speak. And then they selected four of us from the GD of one batch. So at the end of the group discussion, there were approximately 12 of us left for the interview rounds. Uh, they conducted all of it in one day, so basically it was a very hectic day. They presented a PowerPoint presentation from 10 o'clock in the morning to 12 o'clock something. Then after half an hour of something, the GT started. They came to the campus for two branches, mechanical and electrical. So the time they conducted it serial wise, so they didn't conduct parallel, and they had to take it from first mechanical groups, then electric groups, and then electrical interviews, and then mechanical interviews. So then GD were complete by approximately 3 o'clock. Then the interview started, and it was all over by 10:30 in the night. So after the GDs were conducted, I was selected, and 12 of us were selected. Then the HR of the BP Petroleum, they gave us some forms to fill out the personal information, and the internship that we had gone through the vacations, and some HR questions about the qualities that we have, and other various questions. So during the interview, they all had those forms with them, the photocopies of the form, and they started out with the question that tell me about yourself, which is the first question every company basically asks. So I told them about my schooling basically, and my parents. Basically I told them about my education, nothing more than that. They didn't ask anything about that. Then they went to the form and they asked me about my internship. I had gone through my internship at NTPC Badapur. It was a power plant visit basically. So they asked me why did I do my training at that place. So I told them that I had just gone through the subject in my in a college. So I liked the subject, and I had an opportunity at that place, so I took the opportunity and did my training. Then they basically asked a few questions, technical questions, mostly from the fluid mechanics. One question was that very was not a big question, but I got confused in basically in that. So they asked me if you had two pumps, one reciprocating pump and a centrifugal pump, and uh, the supply was diverted into those two pumps, and the supply was inlet was diverted into the pump, and the supply was collected from those two pumps. So what would be the effect on the power and the discharge of those pumps? So first of all, I was confused by the question, but when I started, I thought that it was a very obvious question. So why were they asking me? So at the end, they encouraged me, and then I told them that the discharge would be divided, and the outlet of the discharge would be the sum of the discharge, and the power would be also the sum of the two pumps. And they also asked me about the head. So the head would be, it was completely an electrical analogy, like series, resistance in series and parallel. So the head would be same across the two compressors. So that was one question. It was a simple question. And then they asked me what compressor would I prefer for a viscous fluid? What pump would I prefer? So I didn't know the exact answer, but I did an educated guess, and then I said reciprocating pump. So that was all the main points of the interview, and that's all they asked me. I think for Biopetroleum to be selected, the for the first selection procedure to be shortlisted, you should have a average percentage, approximately above 70%, preferably. And then for the GD, there was it depends upon actually upon the your crowd, with what kind of peers you have. So GD, I can't say much about that. But for the interview, you should have a sound technical knowledge. It's not like that you will have to study overnight for many weeks ahead of the company. But still, if you have a sound knowledge of the subjects, and you'll do